It is said that casinos are capable of leaving many men bankrupt, who lose everything for the ambition and the illusion of one day winning, if they are lucky. But this is not a matter of luck, but of skill, tricks, and malice. Something that Mickey Mays knows very well, the man who gave a syrup of his own medicine to a few casinos, which made them tremble after winning a few millions, which they never thought of losing, and much less at the hands of a single person. But who is Mickey Mays, and how did he manage to win a fortune in casinos? Although everyone knows him as Mickey Mays, his real name is Michael David Meterman, a young man who comes from a wealthy family in New Jersey, United States. However, his current new fortune has nothing to do with that of his parents, since he squandered part of the family wealth when he was just a boy and a novice in casino games, which is why he was expelled from home. So he had to start from scratch. But with the passage of time, although he had to live in the streets and sometimes in prison, Mickey managed to dominate the gambling games, making a name for himself in the main casinos of Las Vegas and Los Angeles. Known by everyone there as the King of Baccarat, a fame that slowly spread around the world after participating in popular live broadcasts of poker games, which had been streamed online and on television, such as his recent appearances on the Hustler Casino Live and Live at the Bike poker broadcasts, which earned him quite a few fans for his ingenious way of playing and taking all his opponents' money, which he boasts about on his social networks, a boast he does not make in vain. As such is his success, that Discovery decided to include him in the documentary series Hustlers, Gamblers, Crooks, to tell and talk about Mickey's multi-million-dollar baccarat wins in various casinos in Las Vegas. In fact, one of the segments is titled "The Moment I Won $4.5 Million." Earnings that of course make him live a life full of luxury and eccentricities, which are witnessed by many of his followers on TikTok, as Mickey has been the protagonist of many videos that have accumulated more than 1 million views each. Videos and images that have also been displayed on his Instagram account, at @DirtyGothBoy, which has almost 500,000 followers at the time of making this video, making his presence ever greater on social media, which he uses to showcase an alleged luxurious lifestyle. But did Mickey really become a millionaire in casinos? Regarding this, there are several theories and stories where it is said that this man began his rise since he was 13 years old, playing gambling in clandestine sites in New Jersey, where he learned until he gained all the experience he has today, and which everyone is afraid of. It is also said that his millions come from a network of pharmacies, of which he was the owner, as well as rehabilitation centers and clinical laboratories, which he sold to dedicate himself to being a professional gambler in casinos. On the other hand, there are those who say that Mickey owned a bar and that he gambled and gambled against local Jewish children in his neighborhood, from whom he managed to take all their money. And of course, there is a fantastic version that tells that one day Mickey Mays entered a casino in Las Vegas with only $200 in his pocket and left that day at night with more than $800,000, of which a few days later he bet $50,000 and ended up turning them into $6.2 million. Supposedly, it was all because he was an expert at what he did. Whether it was by luck or by cheating, nobody can deny his skill as a gambler, which became evident when he was 29 years old, when his millionaire victories began to be notorious, where it seemed that he had an antidote that prevented him from losing and put his luck on his side. Adding to this all the experience in the gambling games, Mickey became one of the biggest winners of all time in Las Vegas. From one moment to another, he had won tens of millions of dollars, a fact that earned him the scorn of many other poker players who could not beat him, and especially of the casinos that even decided not to let him enter their premises, since letting him play was letting him take his money home. The hatred and envy that Mickey aroused in many was so great that he constantly received death threats to stop playing, but he did not pay attention to any of them and continued playing in those places that allowed him to do so. And although many other bettors have labeled him as a cheater, according to Mickey Mays, he has a trick to the cards. Although he is not a tarot reader, they believe that in the best of cases, he applies an edge sorting, which involves noticing irregularities on the back of the playing cards to determine whether the card is beneficial or not. How this is done, we do not know. What we do know is what Mickey said about it, and that is, when normal people learn to play Baccarat, they understand that the house always has an advantage, and the mission is to weaken that advantage in order to win. And all I have done is hack the cheating system that casinos apply to be the only winners, so I play avoiding falling into those traps. Many believe that I just stood up one day and learned how to play the game, but the reality is that I come from a family that has been playing casinos for generations. In fact, my grandparents gave me my first fake IDs so they could enter them to the casinos without problems, so the game is in my blood. I grew up in the middle of poker, so my achievements are neither cheating nor luck. But it is the result of an upbringing that made me know and observe this world from a very young age, unlike many who enter this world when they are already adults. Besides this, I was close to the Italian mafia and the men who invented the casino games, so I listened to all the trick that was behind these table games. So growing up, I used that to my advantage. Besides, although I come from a wealthy family, I lived a long time in the street, and I was in prison for some bad decisions I made. I was a bad and rebellious boy, but I do not deny that past that for many may be a source of shame. But for me, it was something positive because I discovered all kinds of fraud, scams, and traps, which allows me to have enough malice to analyze everything and get out of the alley in which these casinos corner you to lose your money. And although today the casinos brand him as a criminal for having managed to keep his money, there is a truth that Mickey has confessed. The casinos are very smart, even smarter than I will ever be, because in the casinos they usually build advantages to stay ahead of all their players, and they never talk about it publicly. They don't talk about it like they had talked about me, and if someone asks them, they change the subject or close the conversation. He also tells how he managed to have Las Vegas almost at his feet, mentioning that when he came of age, he moved to Los Angeles, where Las Vegas is only 45 minutes away. So it was not surprising that this gambling fanatic travels every weekend to the city of Sin to party with his friends, and especially to spend long days in the casinos. And speaking of time, Mickey explains that this is part of his strategy on how to win millions in casinos, since he advises that it is not advisable to stay too long in one casino, because that will only lead you to bankruptcy. He remembers that one of those weekends he entered a casino with one of his best friends with a clear objective, to win the biggest amount of money in the shortest time possible. So Mickey entered the first casino that day and bet $500,000, and once he managed to transform it into $1 million, he went to the cashier, claimed his money, and left. Because many times the casinos make you win at the beginning to hold you back and make you keep betting, so they can keep the money they make you believe you have won, plus the money you have taken to bet. So as soon as they let you win, do not continue there. Collect your money and go to another place. Returning to that day when Mickey took over Las Vegas, he entered a second casino and transformed the $1 million into $2 million. And when he did so, he quickly went to the casino next door to convert those $2 million into $3 million. And without hesitation, he achieved his goal. And in a short time, since he entered the first casino, he was already in a fourth casino, where he already had $4.5 million. But this time, he could not escape as fast as he did on the other occasions. In fact, his life was in danger. As we know, behind these casinos, there is a network of mafias, which was not going to let a skillful young man keep all that amount of money. But he got out there as best he could.